Welcome back, all of you awesome freaking people. It has been an eventful few days over here at FML Talk. In last week's episode, I told you guys that today's guest was not only in a wild narcissistic relationship, but that relationship happened to be with Daniel's best friend. Morgan Lawler from Temptation Island came on and dished on her experience dealing with her narcissistic ex and how Daniel played a toxic role in her life and their relationship. Monday afternoon, she called me in a total panic, asking me to please pull the episode because she was so freaked out that he and Daniel were going to come after her, try and shut down her social media, and she was literally in a complete state of anxiety-ridden panic. Obviously, we were like, what the fuck do we do? It's 2 days before the episode's supposed to air. It's fully edited. All of the social media stuff had been created. So I had to decide if I was going to air the episode or pull it. I myself, as you all know, am no stranger to the fear and panic that Daniel instills in people. So because I have totally been where she is, I decided that it was best not to air her episode. Even when we were recording, I could feel the fear in her voice. So here's a little clip from that episode. And it's scary because it's like an invasion of privacy. And it makes us kind of live in this fear bubble that they're going to come after someone.
I'm in that fear bubble right now because I'm doing this interview with you. I'm scared because I know, and I've already been threatened by Evan and Daniel that they will shut off all of my social media.
So I'm sure you all understand her nervousness and my decision to decide to pull the episode. But never fear, because the episode you are about to hear is one that we were planning on saving for a later date. I sat down with Kaylin Ward, and this episode, you guys, is even juicier and more jaw-dropping than Morgan's story. So strap in, y'all. It's about to get fucking wild. Welcome to FML Talk.
Oh my God. Wait, how old was the other girl?
19. Can you believe that shit?
Hey, this is Gabrielle Stone.
Good book?
He did what?
48 hours?
What a dick.
Yeah, but have you seen all the photos on our Instagram? And this is FML Talk.
Oh, no, she didn't.
I am so fucking excited about who is sitting across from me right now. Mostly because of the way that we came to meet, which we will talk about once we get to know you a little bit more. Yeah. But your story is crazy. So I want everybody to give a warm welcome to Miss Kaylin. Hi. You will probably know her better as Naked Philanthropist on Instagram and all of those other platforms. But so tell me, first off, about when the Australian wildfires happened and that whole crazy story. I want to know in detail.
It's actually a really funny story.
Okay, tell me.
So I was on a yacht
with
my sugar daddy.
Nice. The way all good stories start.
Yes, I was on a yacht for a month with my sugar daddy. Totally hated it. Didn't want to be there. We didn't have any internet. We were in the Caribbean. Had no cell service, no phone. I wasn't in contact with anybody. I didn't have social media for like a month. Just stuck on this yacht with like old people. Not fun. So I escaped and I'm like, I'm gonna go get a hotel. I don't want to be around you guys. I'm gonna leave. So I go get a hotel, finally get Wi-Fi after like a month. And I'm like on Twitter, finally getting that fix for social media.
Yeah. And
I'm drunk in my bed by myself and I see that Australia's on fire and I'm just drunk crying. Why didn't nobody tell me? What? How did I miss all of this? And I just felt like this weird, I'm just missing so much not being in America, you know? So I was drunk and my drunk self was I'm gonna tweet that anybody who donates all this money, or $10, I guess it was, to the Australian wildfires will get a nude photo of me. And it was a drunk joke. It wasn't meant to be serious.
Right.
I was totally just fucking around. And then I woke up the next morning and it was extremely viral. I was hungover as fuck, had no idea what I had done the night before. And I woke up and it was just
oh my God,
everywhere. It was the number one trending post on Twitter.
Okay, so but then how did people go about did they donate and then say, hey, we donated?
So I sent a list of all the charities that I would like them to donate to, and I let them do it to the charity of their choice, and then they had to send me a screenshot of their confirmation number.
Okay.
And then I had I didn't expect it to be huge, but when it did get huge, I just hired a team of 4 or 5 people to cross-reference all the confirmation numbers and make sure that they were legit. And then just send him the same photo of me.
Oh my God.
And we did a lot. We answered so many of them, but it got to a point where I just like, I couldn't just answer every single person and send them a photo.
So how much money did you end up raising?
$2 million. We estimated $2 million. We counted like a million, and then we just kind of did like an average number of like messages, and like this percentage is probably real. We just like, estimated, and it was like over 2 million, but that was like our modest estimate.
My God.
It was crazy.
So basically you saved Australia.
Yeah.
With your naked body.
Yes.
I love that. And it was the same photo that you sent to everybody.
Yeah.
Wow, girl.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I mean, let's just like round of applause over here for you. That's fucking insane. So then did that kind of become a jumping off point for you on?
Definitely. So before I did that, I was just kind of like a nobody in LA, and then before then I was engaged. I live on a farm, and I had like no followers on social media. I was like a nobody.
Okay.
And then that blew up, and now it's like going crazy. I probably had like 30,000 followers on like Twitter, I think, before that, and now I'm at like almost 500,000.
And you turned it into a business, like you entrepreneured the shit out of it, and now you're killing it.
Yeah. So now I do OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I also manage girls like social medias, OnlyFans, stuff like that, and I do like social media marketing.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
It's crazy.
So that brings us to how you and I came to meet.
Yes.
Which is a wild fucking story, and my book fans are going to freak out over it as she takes a sip of her wine. So when my first video went viral on TikTok, it was the video with Daniel and I at our wedding, and he had a pig emoji on his face, and then it kind of like shared my whole story. I got a DM from you basically saying like, oh my God, are you Daniel's ex-wife? I need to talk to you.
Yeah, so the reason that happened is I was in the middle of like a huge situation with this person. And ironically, someone sends me your TikTok and is like, I have a feeling this is about Daniel. I don't know why or how they knew, but they're like, someone told me that his ex wrote a book about him, and then this popped up on my For You page on TikTok, and like, I think this is her.
Wow.
And sent me all your stuff. And I was like, I have to reach out to her. This is fate. We have to talk about this, because I was dealing with the craziest.
Yeah, which we're going to get into and unpack. But I got to be honest, when you first messaged me, I looked you up on Instagram and totally judged you just because of your whole, you know, your page. You're very beautiful, very blonde, and very not clothed in a lot of your photos. So I was like, oh God, I don't even want to go down this rabbit hole. Like, who knows the type of people that Daniel's been like attracting in his life. So I remember I wrote back and I was like, look, I don't really know how I can help, but like, yes, you know, all of your suspicions are probably true, but like I was worried to get invested into whatever he was dealing with.
Which I feel like everybody is probably like weary of him, because he's
for
so
sure
crazy.
Yeah. So then comes my Instagrams getting hacked into, and me knowing that it was Daniel. And I actually reached out to you being like, girl, what the fuck? Because I remembered you had said something that had happened that was similar to you.
Okay, so Morgan actually reached out to me right after I messaged you. No context, just goes, here's my number, call me. And I'm like, who is this person? This is so mysterious. I have to call her.
All the girls coming together.
And I had no idea who she was. It's just a random girl. And I just like, my brain was like, this has to be about him.
Right.
I have to call her. And as soon as I call her, she goes, Daniel's a scammer. Don't trust him. And I'm like, who is this? Hi, you're right, but like, who are you? And she just goes in and tells me all these things about him. And she's like, you know, his ex wrote a book about him. And I'm like, yeah, I reached out to her. I'd love to talk to her about it. And she's like, well, you can talk to me about it and let me know what's happening. And everything I was telling her, she was like, I was there. She was like, I was in the room. Yeah. You were over and I had to hide. And it was just all these weird things coming into play. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, it's like all these weird wires that ended up crossing. Okay, so tell me the story from the beginning of like how you and Daniel came to be in that whole drama saga.
So I was at a party and was with a bunch of like influencers and stuff like that, like Instagram people. And I met Daniel, and I don't know if anybody knows, but he's obviously like in that space, social media influencer space. And just got really drunk and went home with him. And was having fun. We were talking about business. We were talking about like social media, stuff like that. Went home with him. And then...
To his home?
No. He went to my home.
Got it.
And then he just kind of like tried really hard to stay in my life. And I was like, okay, whatever. It was like a one-time thing for me. And then he just kept like showing up or like bringing me food or like wanting to come over or wanting to talk business. And at the time I was in a business relationship with somebody who was his friend. And we also shared an attorney. And Daniel somehow weaseled his way into my life and convinced me that these people were not supposed to be in business with me and that these people were screwing me over. And he was like, really had me paranoid. And he was like, this person, they're fucking you over. They're stealing all your money. They're going to scam you. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. Like my idiot ass was like, oh my God, I have to fire them.
That's not idiot ass. That's fucking you're being manipulated by a narcissist.
He's very manipulative.
So, yeah.
So but he didn't outwardly say that he wanted to be in business with me. He was like, I don't want to be in business with you. I'm just helping you. You know, I'm just giving you advice. It's just friendly advice because I care about you.
Sure.
So I fired my attorney. I got rid of my business partner, who's an angel, by the way.
Yeah.
Got rid of my business partner and then just kind of just started to do my thing on my own. And then a couple, weeks or months later, Daniel started weaseling his way in and saying, I can help you with your business.
Right.
I can do this. And this is about the time that people were coming to me and saying, did you know Daniel has a girlfriend? And I'm like, really?
You're like, that's interesting because we already fucked.
Yeah, like we've been fucking for months. And so I bring it up and they're all showing me this is his girlfriend. They're obviously public on her Instagram. And I'm like, oh shit. So I ask him and I'm like, why didn't you just tell me you had a girlfriend?
Right.
And he's like, well, we've been together for 3 years and we're broken up. It's just, she's like my best friend. It's just a hard breakup and I don't want to like, kick her out. I just feel bad because she's just such a sweet person.
Right.
So he's like, so she does live with me, which is like, so you live, that's why you're at my house all the time.
Right.
Like she does live with me, but I just don't have the heart to kick her out yet, but she's trying to find a new place. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to see you or be in contact with you while your ex-girlfriend lives with you, period. So we kicked her out.
What?
Yeah, I said that to him and he just kicked her out and made her go live with her parents.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And so I just believed that he finally had the balls to be like, all right, we're done.
Right.
But really, he just kicked his girlfriend out of his house so he could cheat on her.
Great.
They would never broke up.
Okay.
And then he and I go into business together and he has me convinced that he and his ex-girlfriend are just friends and then tries to get me to be friends with her. So then I become kind of friends with this girl.
Oh my God, with Laurel.
Yes, and he wants me to do collabs with her on Instagram. And one day I'm at his house and we're talking business. Mind you, we're sleeping together.
Right.
And she comes over and my assistant's there. And he's just really making this whole thing messy. He wants my assistant to start working for her. And he wants she and I to collab together and start working together. So all 4 of us were in the kitchen together. And then I realized, like, the way that Laurel is talking, she's like, oh, I don't know if I can post this on OnlyFans. Is this okay with you? And I'm like, wait, you guys are not broken up. And it happened like I was right there.
Right.
And I was just like, this shit's messy.
Well, they say don't shit where you eat, but he literally like made a shit smoothie and drank it in front of all of you.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
He didn't care at all. And then he still was trying to lie to me and I'm like, okay, whatever. So I cut it off and I told him, why don't we just work together, do business together? I don't want it to be messy. I would rather just keep it strictly business.
Right.
So for a few months we did that and I started seeing someone. I was in a relationship. And then my assistant she was really not working out well for me. So I kind of like transitioned her to only working for Laurel. And then, Daniel and I were in business together and he had this contract with me where he was going to grow my Instagram account in his scammy Instagram growth business.
Right, which I've heard all about.
Yeah, which is a Ponzi scheme.
Right.
So he's like, oh, I'm going to grow you and get you all these new followers. I'm going to get you 1 million new followers in exchange for 5% of your OnlyFans, which is a substantial amount of money.
Yeah. Okay. Let's pause for a second because that's a very substantial amount of money. You make a shitload of money on OnlyFans.
And so I'm like, 1 million followers, 5% for 9 months. That's really not like too bad,
Right.
So I gave him 5% of my OnlyFans and it happened for maybe a month. And then I realized that all this growth he was doing was fake.
Right.
Fake Instagram followers, fake engagement. It was ruining my account.
Yeah.
And so I have all these followers, but they're not real. And so my engagement just literally, when I had 100,000 followers, I was getting more likes than I did when I had 400,000 followers.
Right.
So I realized that this was like super scammy. And separate from this contract, we were also going into business together on a management company. Mm-hmm. And I reached out to him and I was like, hey, no shade or anything, but like my engagement's like going down. So like we need to fix this.
Yeah.
And he just went off. He was like, well, this is not my problem. This is you because your content sucks ass. He was like, it's not my business that's harming your account. It's you. You just need better posts. It's just you're not posting so that people want to see. So nobody's engaging with you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe he's right. You know, maybe you just need to step on my content. And then finally I realized he wasn't going to let me out of this contract with him. And he was sending me fake followers running my account. So I got an attorney involved. And I just had him send Daniel a letter just saying basically that the contract was, invalid and that I was going to get out of it. Mm-hmm. So Daniel sent me this super nasty message. It was like, I would have let you out of the contract. And like, I think it's super shitty and it's bullshit. But because I'm a nice guy, I'm going to let you out of the contract.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, cool. Whatever.
Which really means because your attorney scared the shit out of me.
Exactly.
I'm now going to let you out of the contract.
He has to be the person in control of everything.
Yeah.
He's like, nobody can have the upper hand on me.
Right.
I'm going to let you out.
Right.
It was me.
Yeah.
So I get out of the contract and then I kind of slowly drift away from being in business with this person because he's a scammer. And I started to realize this. And one day I'm at my house during quarantine, getting my nails done by my nail artist. All my friends are there. My really good friend who she writes music. She's super amazing. Basically people that I really wanted to have a good impression of me.
Right.
We're at my house. We're all getting our nails and having a girls' day. And my old assistant barges in my house, just a mess, just like crying and like screaming. And I'm like, hi, what's up? And she's like, Daniel's going to sue me. Laurel's in danger. You need to help me. And I'm like, well, hold on, slow down. What's going on? And she's like, I told Laurel that you and Daniel were sleeping together. And now Laurel's missing. And
what?
Daniel's suing me for $1 million. And he's threatening me. And I can't talk to Laurel. And I think she's in danger. You have to help me.
Okay, first of all, you can't sue someone for telling someone the truth. Like, that's not a thing.
I know.
Secondly, wait, okay. I wish you guys could see me because my mouth is just sitting here dropped open, and I'm pretty sure my producers is too. Okay, all right, so continue.
So she's like just a mess, and she's like, I was texting Laurel, and because they got really close, and she was like, I just couldn't lie to her. I had to tell her, that her boyfriend was cheating on her with you, and I'm really sorry. I shouldn't have done that, but I just had to do it. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Whatever. It's already happened. We'll figure it out. And she's like, but I was texting her, and then all of a sudden, she stopped texting me, and Daniel started texting me.
From her phone?
Yeah. And he took her phone. She wasn't allowed to use it. He blocked everybody on social media, including myself, my old assistant, and made sure that Laurel had no contact with any of us, and was like, and my old assistant had her spare phone because that's where she would work off of. And he was like, we're coming to get her phone right now. And in order for you to not get sued, you have to give us the phone, and then you have to sign this paperwork saying that you'll never say anything about us ever again and all this stuff. She was like, I'm not signing that.
Oh
He's
my
like, well, you
God.
have to. And if you don't sign it, I'm suing you. So he was threatening her, which is
Right.
super illegal. That you're supposed to go through an attorney for that kind of stuff.
And like false threats that are never going to be able to be carried out.
But he was just like, she was terrified. She was absolutely terrified, freaking out. And I'm like, girl, Laurel wants to be in that relationship. Maybe she's in danger, but like she's choosing to be there. She's choosing to be manipulated and believe this man who's lying to her.
Right.
And basically, Daniel convinced Laurel that he never cheated on her, that I was lying and I was making it up. My old assistant was making it up to like harm them in their relationship because we hate them so much.
Right.
So then after this, should I go into like the serious stuff that happened?
Oh, please.
Okay.
Everyone's just eating popcorn and drinking tea at this point, so please.
It gets worse. So I'm like going about my merry life. I'm like, whatever. I don't really care about this stuff. I'm a pretty like chill person. I don't really get fazed by too many things.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whatever. This is going to blow over.
Right.
I get a letter in my email from his attorney, a cease and desist, threatening that first of all, if I don't respond in 24 hours on a Sunday, I get an email saying if you don't respond in 24 hours, we're going to sue you for $500,000 for slander and breach of contract and all these just list of things. And I'm like, this is bullshit.
Well,
And our response
girl, I
was-
wrote a fucking book about the dude, and like he can't sue me for slander. Like there's laws that protect that, and I don't think he actually knows what that word means. But
and then I get a text from Daniel, just this whole long threat, which is also illegal. If somebody's being represented by legal counsel,
right,
can't really like send them legal notices through text. And nor could his attorney, which they did. They never sent it to my legal counsel. They sent it directly to me. Super illegal.
Yeah.
Anyways, I just kind of ignore it because I'm that kind of person. I just don't really care.
Yeah.
Sue me. Whatever. We're in COVID. You're not going to go to court for like 2 years.
Right.
Your business is in Canada. You don't pay your taxes. Like, sue me. So that happens. And then I don't get a response, which I know pissed him off because he's so egotistical and he has to be in like the powerful position all the time.
Yeah.
He didn't get the response he wanted. So I'm sitting in bed with my boyfriend one day and I get a notice on my phone and it's from Verizon. And it's like, we're on the phone with you right now. If this isn't you, call us. And I'm like, this isn't me. So I call Verizon, and because of COVID, they were closed. So I'm like, shit. So then I'm like trying to check my emails, and then my phone stops working. And my service got shut off. And I'm like trying to make calls.
My God.
And I'm like, babe, my phone isn't working. So I'm like trying to call people, and it's like, this call cannot be completed right now. Da, 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 da. So I'm freaking out. And then I like get all these notices pop up on my phone. Apple. And I'm like checking it. It's like, your Apple ID is being used in so-and-so, like Los Angeles. Your Apple ID has been changed. You're being logged out of your Apple ID. And then I'm like, fuck.
My God.
And it's like saying my Apple ID is being used somewhere and it shows like a map on my phone. And
Right.
I'm freaking out. So I go to my email and all these emails keep popping up. And it's like, your Apple ID name has been changed to Ashley Keys. Your birthday has been changed. Your backup email has been changed. Your phone number has been changed. And I'm sitting here watching it all happen in front of my face. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh my God.
So I'm like reading all my emails. And as I'm reading them, they're all disappearing in front of my eyes. I'm like, I'm not deleting these. Where are they going? And so I realized whoever's doing this to me not only has my Apple ID and my phone number, they also have all my emails. So what this person did is somehow they figured out my password to my Verizon account.
Mm-hmm.
They SIM swapped my phone number and put my phone numbers on one of their devices. And then they were able to use two-factor authentication to log into my Apple ID, my emails, my social medias, my banks, every single account I've ever owned, my GoDaddy account, everything. Logged into all of it using two-factor authentication and got my passwords and had email, and they reset all of my passwords. They reset all of my recovery emails. They did a fucking phenomenal job.
Yeah.
Whoever it is, kudos to them. Daniel. Good job.
Well, whoever Daniel paid to do that. Or you think it was really him?
So in
and
the
they're doing
moment,
it?
I'm thinking, this person's a fucking professional.
Yeah.
This person's a professional hacker. But then I realize, so I'm calling everybody. And my first thought is, my fucking assistant
Right.
is hacking me because she's the only one that had my password.
Right.
And so I call her and she's like, I swear to God, it wasn't me, blah, blah, blah. And then 2 hours later, she calls me and she goes, I got an email from GoDaddy yesterday, before I got hacked, yesterday, that somebody logged in from a different device and changed your password. And then she goes, and then I realized that when you and Daniel were working together, I gave him your GoDaddy password.
Oh my God.
Which was the same password to my Verizon account. And like a few of my random accounts.
Yeah.
And I like cross-reference, and all the accounts that they first got into
Were those.
without two-factor authentication were the accounts with the same password as my GoDaddy. Yeah.
Wow, dude. And I thought I felt fucking violated when my Instagrams went away. I mean, that's unreal.
Was petrified. I literally felt like somebody was gonna like murder me. Like, not really, but like when every single aspect of your life is on this device. And
that's your livelihood and your business.
They wiped my laptop, swiped my hard drive. My laptop rebooted and burnt because my fan was working so hard because it was deleting so many things that my iPad just went and died. Like, I had to throw it away. Wiped my iPad, wiped all of my phones, 20,000 photos and videos that I've had over the past few years that I use to make money off of because I do social media and OnlyFans. Yeah. Every single piece of content gone on Daniel's phone now. All of my contacts, my family's information, my social security number, my EINs for my businesses, my boyfriend's name, my best friend's name. Every single fucking embarrassing photo, every piece of information was out of my hands and in Daniel's hands. And I know it was him. Yeah. I know. So this is all happening for like 3 days. I'm going to the police. They don't care. I get a personal investigator. he's investigating. I get the FBI involved. Like this, I'm still currently in the process of like actually prosecuting this person. Because with COVID, everybody's so busy with everything. And this is like a very special case. Like this doesn't happen all the time.
No.
Especially with somebody that you know.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's a lot. But
and I feel like it's crazy because obviously you and I didn't know each other in any way, shape, or form. Neither did Morgan and I. Neither did you and Morgan. And this one person who's fucking all these different people over has now brought us all together.
Yeah.
What do you think his reaction is going to be when he realizes that we're all friends now?
He's going to shit himself. Like, actually, like, this person's going to lose their shit. Because he's the type of person that he feels so powerful. And, like, when he does something and fucks someone over, he's genuinely like, I'm the coolest person on the planet.
Yeah.
And when he realizes that all comes, like, crumbling down, he's going to fucking shit himself. He might die. He might, like...
just spontaneously combust.
Yes, he might just die and, like...
And it's a testament to, I think, women that I, being his ex-wife, can sit across from a table with you who was having sex with him for a number of months and has also been fucked over by him, and we can bond over that and
isn't it funny how this
totally
happens?
Normal.
Yeah.
Totally normal. And it's
almost like better because
completely
when you go through the same, because like in life, it sucks to like vent to people about your problems because somebody really understands.
Yeah, and even
people are like, oh yeah, we've all been cheated on, we've all gone through this, and they're like, yeah, whatever. But when you can share an experience with somebody
with the same,
you don't
person.
have to like try to convince them how sad you are, how it feels, because they know.
Yeah,
we know.
Yeah, when you've all been personally, it's like raise your hand if you've been personally victimized by Regina George. Only it's like fucking Daniel. It's wild, dude, and I'm so sorry that you had to fucking go through all that. I know just from having my 2 pages disabled, it's so fucking violating.
They tried to do that to me, and luckily, like, I know people on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like, I've had my account deleted so many times. I've gotten verified. I have connections. Got my accounts back. They actually used my personal, like, private account where only my friends and family are there and posted, like, photos of my acne. And, like, weird shit. They were posting, like, embarrassing photos from my camera roll. And, like, we're posting, like, the most embarrassing photos of me. And they were messaging, like, random people, like, my family and friends, being like, do you want to hang out? And they're like, yeah, sure. They're like, okay, we have to pay me. Like, acting like I was an escort to, like, my friends. And they were like...
Oh, my God, dude.
They were, like, messaging some of my closest friends and being like, ew, ugly. Just weird stuff. Like, why? How do they have the time to do that?
Right. Like, really, how do they have the time?
And they didn't even have the, like, brain power to, like, hide their IP address.
Right. Well, and that's what's so funny because, you know, I'm sure when he disabled both of my Instagram accounts, he wasn't planning on the fact that
I connected you with somebody who works for Instagram.
Who's higher up than any of them could ever imagine.
Yeah, a little context.
It's like...
She reaches out to me because she gets her accounts disabled and she's like, how do I do this? How do I get my accounts back? I'm like, I have the perfect person.
Here you go.
And what's even better is they hate Daniel too.
Yeah. It's amazing how many people that I've connected with from this one situation that have been like, oh my God, I will help you till the ends of the earth because I hate that.
We all know what's going on. This guy's not that like good at what he does.
Clearly. And it's like, it's only a matter of time until karma's just gonna come and eat him alive.
But yeah, it's happening.
I'm so thankful that you have popped into my life, and I'm so glad that I've gotten to know you and not just judge you on your first appearance because you're such a cool chick and you do so much for charity and such good work for other people. And I'm so happy that
thank you
that the badness of Daniel brought us together.
Yes, so I feel like I have so many more people to meet. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure
he has like a whole roster of people.
They keep coming out of the woodwork. So.
Yes.
Until then, cheers.
Cheers.
I really, really want to thank Kaylin for coming on here and being so raw and bold with me and just no filter. I'm so glad I have gotten to know what a down-to-earth, smart woman she is, which is such a reminder to never judge a person by their Instagram photos. I'm also excited because until there are any further developments, which I hope there aren't, this episode concludes our ridiculous ex-husband saga. It's so crazy to me that myself, Kaylin, Morgan, and who knows how many others have been violated and affected by this individual in such a heinous way. Let it be a reminder to you all that people may be able to do wrong by you, hack into your shit, instill fear in you, but they can't take away your voice. They can't control how you choose to react, how you choose to move forward. They can't determine how your energy vibrates. And when you keep your energy high, you attract the types of situations and the types of people that you want in your life. And that, my friends, is the biggest fuck you. Next week, we're going to take a little break from all the heavy drama and talk about something I get asked about constantly, which is solo travel. I am so excited to dive into this and give you all my tips and tricks and favorite places and all the amazing things that travel can bring into your life. I will see you all next week. I am starting to get pictures and see all of you guys in your merch, which is making me so freaking happy. If you haven't gotten any of the sweatshirts or t-shirts or masks, they're all up on the website, eatprayfml.com, where you can also get your signed book. I'm seeing a lot of people grab those for Christmas gifts and do little self-love packages, which is freaking awesome. And make sure you're subscribed to the podcast. DM us with anything specific that you want to hear or see on the show. And if you have an FML story, send us a DM and we will send you instructions on how to record to possibly be on the show. Until next Wednesday, guys, sending you lots of love. Mwah.